What's up, guys? How's it going? So obviously the Tesla truck finally revealed, and as Elon said, it is indeed a truly polarizing design. I still don't even think I like it, but it's so futuristic and different that it's cool, but not, I don't know. I know I've talked about this in the past. i3, hideous. I loved that when Tesla came out with the Model S. It looked great, very elegant, good looking sedan, and the performance was there to back it up as well. So yeah, a little polarizing, but it's kind of growing on me, but still not. I know there's some function in the form, so yeah, maybe I'll talk about that in this video, maybe I won't, we'll see. But either way, Tesla truck is out, and well, I wasn't sure about the design, so I didn't order one. I ordered two. So I actually didn't mean to order two. Let's get to the car and we'll talk more about it. Welcome back to the Tesla, guys. It is still doing very fine. It's a fantastic car, absolutely love it. But yes, I'm working with a 2014 Model S P85, as most of you know, but if you don't and you're new to the channel, that's what I have. Also, if you guys are enjoying the content, please consider liking and subscribing. Really appreciate it. But let's get out of here.
Red light camera reported ahead.
Thanks, Waze. Wait for it. Wait for it. All right, guys, welcome back to the Tesla. Yes, the tire spin is very, very real, and it is a ton of fun. There's a Porsche trying to pass me, which they obviously can't do. Point being, these cars are fantastic, even for a 5-year-old car at this point. All I can say is the Tesla truck is going to be even quicker than this car with even better range potentially. So super excited for that truck to come out. It's going to be very cool, to say the least. So as I said, I actually put a reservation in for two, or a deposit, I guess. So clearly every time Tesla does an announcement, they open up deposits or reservations or whatever you want to call them for the vehicles. Now these trucks only had a $100 deposit, fully refundable. Now I actually didn't mean to get two. I meant to get one. However, I did notice that I'm part of a couple Tesla groups in the area, and people were posting in those groups that the same thing happened to them. You see, I went to put in a reservation for one truck, and it went to an error page. Uh-oh. Too many requests. Classic. So then I refreshed, put in another order, and got a success, like an actual success message. So I didn't really know. I mean, I just assumed that the first one obviously didn't go through, but it did go through. So then the next morning, I got one confirmation email at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and then I actually got another one at like 8:30 at night. So clearly there are, you know, some issues, probably crazy overload on their website and servers and just processing things. So the thing is, I can always go in and cancel it. It was only $100. It's not like it was $1,000 or something like that. So I figure I can just get that money back at any point in time, or I could just keep both reservations for now and then see what happens. The thing is, these trucks aren't going to be available until pretty much 2022. I think they said production starts end of 2021, and the rear motor, so rear wheel drive, or the dual motor, those ones will be available first, with tri-motors being available in 2022. So yeah, I did do two reservations for tri-motor full self-driving, because I mean, why not? The reservation amount, the $100, was the same. It didn't matter which model you got. One caveat is, I remember when the Model 3s came out, they were delivering the performance, the top tier models first. So they were actually reaching out to people that had put in reservations for those Model 3 performances and saying like, hey, we're ready for you. Now I do think they also did reach out to people with lower tier, like, you know, base Model 3s, asking if they wanted to bump up to performance models, get the car sooner. Obviously higher margins, so that's why they did that. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the truck, but clearly it's basically 2 years away before, you know, we're seeing production and any trucks hitting the road. So I got plenty of time, didn't really worry about it too much, and I can always cancel those reservations. Now, the truck itself, obviously very, very polarizing. It is quite the design. I still don't know how I feel about it. It could potentially change, but for the most part, you know, none of his designs have changed, but some very, very cool things. So first and foremost, you have the range. So the base ones, the rear motor, basically 2-wheel drive, that's going to have a 250 plus mile range, which is still fantastic. My car gets a little over 250 miles right now, but obviously I would want much more mileage. So then you have the dual motor, so all-wheel drive, similar setup to the dual motor Model 3s and S's that are out right now. Those dual motor cars should be getting about 300 or more miles of range. And then you finally have the tri-motor. So no quad motors, no like independent motor for each wheel, but like I was predicting, 3 motors potentially. So I'm assuming it's similar setup to the Plaid powertrain that they're testing on the Model S at the Nürburgring. Same thing that will probably be in the Roadster, but that is supposed to give you 500 plus miles of range. I would assume there's going to be a larger battery in that as well, because that truck is going to be heavy. As demoed on stage, Franz took a sledgehammer to a normal truck door, and then he took a sledgehammer to the 30 times cold rolled stainless steel like unibody or whatever it's called that is going to be on the truck, and there is no dent at all from a sledgehammer. So that's pretty impressive stuff right there. Then there was a little bit of a mishap, some unfortunate outcomes where they went to test the Tesla armor glass. And it started off great. They had the drop test with the 1 kilogram steel ball, and they dropped it on a regular like glass window or whatever, and well, that broke right away. And then they climbed up like 10 feet on a ladder to drop the 1 kilogram steel ball on the Tesla armor glass. Nothing. Just like dropped, had a little bounce, and then just kind of sat there. Crazy impressive. But then they decided to test it on the glass that was actually like on the truck, and they threw that 1 kilogram steel ball at the Tesla truck driver window. Needless to say, this did not turn out as planned. You can hear an audible like, oh fuck, from Elon. Yeah, so that glass did like crack. It didn't shatter though, so the ball actually didn't even enter the cabin of the car. It did hit it. The glass cracked or shattered. I don't know what you want to call it, but there were visible cracks in it. But then the kilogram ball still did fall to the ground. Then they're like, oh, let's just do it on the back window. Same exact thing. Yeah, so the ball cracked the rear window too. And then he said, yeah, we'll fix it in post for a live event, which that's kind of the joke there. Anyways, so that was kind of funny, but point being, this car is going to be absurdly like tough and in a way indestructible. I guess the cold rolled steel frame body, whatever you want to call it, is to a point bulletproof even. They showed like a little GIF mini video thing of 9mm being shot at it. So I mean, extremely impressive. And then you have the stats. So the base truck will start at $40,000, which is crazy. That is absolutely incredible. Awesome base price for this truck. You still get 250 miles of range, and well, you obviously still get this like bulletproof stainless steel cold rolled body and the Tesla armor glass in it, which is awesome. And then the towing capacity. So the highest model truck, the tri-motor truck, is going to have 500 plus miles of range, do 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds or less, run the quarter mile at a 10.8, and it should be able to tow around 14,000 pounds. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good stuff right there. So definitely much more than any F-150. You're getting into F-250 Super Duty territory with that. So very, very neat stuff there. I can't wait for this truck to come out. I would love to get a ride, but obviously I didn't go. It looked very cool in the interior. There are 6 seats. So actually in between the 2 seats, there's like a thing that folds up, and you can have 3 up front, 3 in the back. Plenty of headroom from what I was told. Someone in my Tesla group actually made it out to the event. He sat there comfortably. I think he was 6 foot and had another like 10 inches of headroom. And that's true for the front and the back. You can see it has like a very pointy roof, but that means panoramic glass kind of all over the interior of the cab, which looks fantastic. I love having the 2 glass pieces up here. I think it makes the car feel that much more open and comfortable. The Cyber ATV, or whatever it's called, but they came out with like an electric ATV at the end to put into the truck bed. You can plug it into the back of the truck bed to charge your ATV. Also, there's a built-in air compressor, so very cool. Great features to have, especially for trucks. So that was neat in and of itself. The truck bed, the cover, can actually support your weight, and it rolls up into the truck itself. So you don't have to worry about like removing the pieces and putting them somewhere. So if you're out and about, you can just roll that open, you're good to go. You can pile stuff in there. Now also, that locks, so you can just roll that back, put things in there and lock it. It's completely covered and you're good to go. So it is neat to have that in, and that's part of the form. That's why you kind of get that fully angled roof in the back. It just kind of slopes right into the roof line, and that's that you get that nice cover that goes right there and can just roll right into the truck body. So there are some cool features there. So like I mentioned, Elon Musk has built in certain features into the truck, like the bed cover that folds back in. You can put your whole body weight on it. It completely locks the back of the truck bed. You have the charging port that they showed when they pulled the ATV on. There's an air compressor on board. I remember he tweeted out or was asking for suggestions, I believe back in 2018, for some of the top features that people would want on their trucks, such as an air compressor or the ability to plug in and charge power tools or an ATV, for example. So I don't know what other features are going to be on the car or the truck. Apparently, you know, it's 2 years away. So there's definitely time to add more things, but it is nice to have those two features. Those are two big things. Obviously, people with trucks typically have power tools because that's what they're using the trucks for. So if you have the ability to charge all the power tools directly from the truck's battery, that's a huge win right there. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the adaptive air suspension comes standard on all levels of truck, even the one that starts just under $40,000, which is huge in and of itself. See, with the base model, the $40,000 Tesla Cybertruck, you're still getting the max amount of towing that you could get out of any Ford F-150. You would have to jump up to an F-250 in order to start getting more a higher towing rating. Some things that I would like to know is if you're towing 14,000 pounds, how close to that 500-mile range are you getting? Like, how much does it kill the range when you start towing the max towing capacity for each of the three trucks? Now, completely independent of towing capacity, which is a reason, you know, to jump from the rear-wheel drive to dual motor to tri-motor, if you want that higher towing capacity, is to consider the range. Even if you're just using it as, you know, a work truck throughout the day, there is some good reason to jump to the 300-mile plus or even the 500-mile plus, even if you don't need the full towing capacity. I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, I might be interested in this truck, but the Tesla Model S will be out then with the Plaid powertrain. The Roadster may be close to coming out or out in 2 years, and I'm very curious to see what the final specs are on those cars, including range, because range is the biggest thing with electric cars. My car right now gets 250 miles, which is pretty good, but if you're driving a lot in a day, you definitely have to charge it every single night. Whereas 500 miles, I mean, that's going to be double the range that I get on my current car. So depending on what like the Model S is doing at the time, depending on what the Roadster might be doing at the time, and then if I really need the truck, because I don't really need the truck. I'm not hauling a ton of stuff. Like it would be cool to have, but it's obviously not necessary for me. But you know, this could replace having a sub 3 second 0 to 60 time. I mean, you still get the acceleration and the fun of having a sports car with, you know, having a car that's virtually impenetrable. You know, the cold rolled steel body. You get the Tesla armor glass. I mean, you don't have to worry about door dings. You don't have to worry about people hitting you. It is pretty awesome, and to still have the same performance. So it'll be curious to see, you know, what happens in 2 years, what changes, what else comes out. But my reasoning for just putting the reservation in on the tri-motor is A, the deposit's exactly the same, so why not put a deposit down for the tri-motor full self-driving? And B, you get 500 miles of range. And I would rather have much more range. Obviously, the towing rating doesn't matter. Like, I don't have a truck now. I don't tow things. So it doesn't really matter. But the 500 miles, that is awesome. And even if you have a smaller truck, having that 500 miles of range, especially on an electric vehicle, is huge. The next big thing is comparing these Cybertrucks to the Rivian trucks. Because that is also very interesting. People are very polarized on the design of these, and obviously think the Rivians look much, much better. I think I would tend to agree with that, but just the specs of the Tesla truck are pretty significant and like significantly better than the Rivian in multiple ways. On top of the price point, and then also just the durability. I mean, the fact that these trucks, they're hitting them with sledgehammers and throwing 1 kilogram steel balls at the windows and they don't crack, don't worry about the presentation. There was actually another video that Elon released of Franz throwing these steel balls at the glass windows just before the presentation. So they can definitely take some impacts before anything would happen, which is still good to know. Because like if I'm driving on the highway, I think I have 1 or 2 rock chips in my windshield right now, just from little like tiny rocks or like clay balls, like mud or dirt flying out of truck. I mean, it would be nice not to have those. So clearly these windows can take some pretty hefty impacts before they do actually crack like they did on the live demo, which was unfortunate. But either way, just the whole body, the dents and dings seem like they're just not really going to happen because it's just such a strong stainless steel that they're made out of. But anyways, let's get into some of the Rivian specs compared to the Tesla specs. All right. Back in the Tesla. Rivian came out with their truck and SUV a while ago now. I think they've been out for like 1 or 2 years. You can put a deposit down to pre-order one of those for, I believe, $1,000. Also fully refundable. All right, so the Rivian is supposed to start at around $70,000, maybe just under, but around $70,000. And that is the top tier Tesla Cybertruck right now. So that is a crazy price difference between the two. So because of that, I'm also more tempted, because if you look at the specs of the base Rivian, and then we still don't know the price of the top tier Rivian, I'm obviously more drawn to, if I did need a truck or wanted a truck, well, the Tesla specs just make a lot more sense, because there's some things that you really can't upgrade at a later date, such as the size of the battery, full self-driving capabilities, even though Rivian does say that their trucks will be equipped with, I guess, hardware. But either way, Teslas obviously come with full self-driving. All the cameras that Tesla's working on, they have better and a huge lead in the autonomous market, so that's a huge thing. But then also the charging network that Teslas have. Also, I'll be curious to see what the full range is. The top tier Rivian is supposed to have a 180 kilowatt hour battery, and I think will be able to charge at 150 kilowatts, whereas the Tesla should be able to charge at 250 kilowatts with a 500 plus mile range. So right now the Rivian says 400 mile range, so you're already looking at a 100 mile range difference, which is a lot. Especially when you're getting up to much higher price points. For example, if the Rivian is like $30,000 more and you're getting 100 miles less in range, and full self-driving capabilities aren't as good, charging speed isn't as good, and you have a lower range, it just makes a lot less sense, especially for resale value as well, which is something that you should probably consider. But the Rivian is still very cool. It obviously has a much less polarizing design. It looks very good. The specs are still fantastic. It has quad motors on it, but the truck bed is shorter. It seats 5, whereas the Tesla Cybertruck seats 6. So there are some key differences to be mindful of and take note of when you're buying these things. And it's also going to be more expensive, seeing as how the starting price is at $70,000. You can assume that if you get up to the higher spec trucks, you're probably looking at close to $90,000 or $100,000. But whether you like the design or not, Elon did say that if the truck didn't sell well for whatever reason, they just make a new body and start selling that to make it more mainstream. But I will say that the polarizing design has made for some great free press, and that's Tesla and Elon have specifically stated multiple times that they've never paid for marketing. They don't believe in trickery and all that stuff, so this is free marketing for them. And free marketing is free marketing. So the point is, like, maybe some of what they're doing is just sort of strategic. Like, it gets the word out there, and they can always change the body, or maybe they have a completely separate body that they've already created and come out with that they can just decide to sell if the original Cybertruck doesn't sell that well. Who knows? Probably not, because everything Elon has released in the past, it has pretty much remained true all the way through to the actual production models. So I guess we'll see what happens in 2 years, but nonetheless, I'm very excited either way. I think the specs on these trucks are awesome. Extremely polarizing design, which is, for the better or for the worse. But it's just so durable, so indestructible, and I think it's going to be awesome. To see these things driving on the road is, I mean, it's like nothing that's on the road. Whether or not it's better or worse than the i3, I don't really know. I think at least the features are like kind of worth the fact that it doesn't look that great, or like I don't really like it that much. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the next couple of years. But I'm excited, and well, I think it's probably the best price, the best spec truck that money can probably buy, at least now. So there's 2 years for other people to come out with things. We'll see what they do, and we'll see what Tesla does. But the Cybertruck is finally out. We can see it. People have gotten rides in it, and it looks pretty sweet. So, well, it looks pretty sweet in the sense that it's crazy and futuristic. But that's going to be it. I hope this video isn't too long, but I guess we'll see once I edit it. Either way, if you guys enjoying the content, please consider liking and subscribing. And until next time, thanks for watching.